Do people read criminals' birth charts and they can see like where they fell flat?
Literally my chart. let me explain.
Okay.
Is there anything that you're really curious about when it comes to your chart?
Relationship and love life. I think it's just like the classic thing.
Let me just say, your chart is very relationship heavy.
Oh shit.
Pluto being in your 6th house, Pluto is the planet of death. Okay, big news, you guys. I'm doing my first ever live virtual show, and it's happening on June 11th. I'll be doing a live birth chart reading with a surprise celebrity guest. And if you grab an after party ticket, you'll get to ask us anything as we spill even more tea. So grab your ticket using the link, and I will see you there. Welcome, Yasmine. If you don't know Yasmine, she is an actress, a host. She has an incredible following, by the way, and she has hilarious original content and a voice that is making waves both off and on screen. Welcome. I'm so happy to have you here.
That was such a sweet introduction.
Well, you're the best. And I'm so happy that you're here. And also your chart, Star Power. You have such a fiery, just magnetic chart. We'll get into it.
Okay.
But before we do,
yes.
What's going on with your life? How are things? Anything new that you want to share with the people?
So business-wise, I feel like I'm trying to do more like personal projects. So like I just finished writing a pilot and I'm like working on like the pitch deck of that. And then I'm trying to finish writing a play to do like a very stripped down like draft of it for like October because it's like a little like spooky. And then I'm trying to just get back into music and like I'm like in this like artsy phase of like, okay, now I have the platform. Let's like make something. You know?
Get to be picky with like the projects you're doing.
Exactly.
And you want it to feel authentic. As a creator, that's just where everyone wants to be.
Yeah.
Also, my one of my best friends, he's a writer, and he just wrote a play like just for my friend group. And I'm like, can we bring more theater like back to LA? Like we need more theater.
No, I agree. And I think like they say like LA theater's not the best. It is like a movie, like TV town.
Right.
Across the board, theater is like making a rise.
A rise?
Like, yeah,
Oh,
like
good.
coming back into the scene. But no, I agree. I want more like LA theater.
But my friend wrote the script, and it was just, we rented a little black box theater like down in Hollywood, and it was just all our friend group. And so the play was basically like based off of our, like us.
Wait, that is so cool.
And it was called That One Fun, Incredible Sleepover. And it was about like a full moon ritual at my house. And and then it got cursed. And then it was like kind of spooky vibes like that too.
That so like, I want to watch it.
I know. We did it for one weekend.
Wait, that is so cool.
It was so fun.
Oh my God.
So let me know when your play is out.
I will.
I will be there.
Oh my
We need more
God.
theater.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we jump into your birth chart, first, tell me about your relationship with astrology.
I believe it's real. I do think that there's like a bit of a pseudoscience to it.
Yeah.
And I think like surface level, it's just very easy to sell and it's fun. And it's like people love to hear like, ooh, like I'm a
Right.
but then when you get deeper into it and like deep into it, I think that's when I start getting like freaked out.
Yeah.
Because it's like people have been doing it for thousands of years, like reading the stars, and like they say if the moon can
control the ocean tides,
it's like of course it can control like how you feel or how like energy. So yeah, I definitely am a spiritual person. I'm like exploring more like my spirituality and like
I love
how
that.
to like channel that.
It's a language. So like even just me like doing your chart today, like the more times you get it done or like learn about it, it starts to click and then you're like able to pick it up yourself. I just think of me as a translator, right? Like this is your chart. I'm just kind of like reading it to you. But it is wild how like a lot of times I'll be in readings and my clients will be like, oh my God, my psychic said the same thing. And I'm like, that's crazy.
Wait, that's so interesting.
Because like, how do they do that?
Yeah,
like I need the chart. But it is wild and it's just proof like we're all interconnected and like it's all just energy. And about how we're translating it and reading it and all the things. Is there anything that you're really curious about when it comes to your chart?
I am curious more of like relationship and love life. I think it's just like the classic thing everybody asks for.
It is classic, but let me just say your chart is very relationship heavy.
Oh, shit.
You have like
oh my God.
Okay, so relationships, you have basically, so you have 4 planets in your 7th house. And the 7th house is the house of relationships. Oh. And so you have a lot of planets there, which simply just means a lot of energy, basically. We'll get a little deeper.
Okay.
The place that I like to start first with astrology is the big 3. Do you know yours?
Aquarius rising. Aquarius moon. Oh, shit. Aquarius sun.
Yep.
Aquarius sun. I know this Leo rising.
Yes.
And then Sagittarius?
Sagittarius moon.
Yes.
Killed it.
Yes.
Also, like Leo risings, I have never met a Leo rising that does not have freaking amazing hair. Like, it's just facts. Literally, it's like beautiful. Also, if you guys are watching at home, the big 3, it's your sun sign, which is your main zodiac star sign, which is our identity. It's how we shine. It's the sun. And then our moon, that is how we nurture ourselves. It's the part of us that we really need. It's the non-negotiable. And then the rising sign is how we go about getting all of that. It's how we move through life. So Yasmine is a Leo rising. So you move like a Leo, which means also the sun is your birth chart ruler. So if you have one planet in this lifetime that you're like besties with, it's the sun. You were meant to shine. The moment you were born, it's like, I'm bold, I'm confident, and I'm taking up space. You are meant to. That's just how you're moving through life. And it's because Leos make people happy. Leos are the performers for a reason. They're the sun for a reason. It's because they make people feel like warm and entertained, which you do. Like also it's fire energy, so very ambitious. So that's your rising sign.
Lovely.
But anytime you can tap into like things that you enjoyed as a child, that motivates you. And just children in general. Leo rules children. So it's either like you being around children or just like parenting yourself in a way too, and like nurturing that inner child. You get to be your biggest fan.
Oh, interesting.
It's not a Leo sun. It's very different. Leo suns, because the sun is what we want.
Okay.
So Leo suns, they tend to get the stereotype of like, oh, look at me.
Right,
like,
right.
I'm the star.
Yeah.
The Leo risings, it's like, no, it's natural. It's your autopilot.
Oh, so interesting. Okay.
You don't have to be the loudest in the room
For sure.
or like, it's just more of like a natural magnetic vibe that you have.
Oh, I love that. I was always wondering, I was like, what's the difference?
So rising it's the first zodiac sign. Think of it as it's the rising sign. That's where that birth time matters because that's where you were born. And so it's the first energy that you've ever met. I think of it as our autopilot. It is that energy that's so natural to us. The sun sign, that's who we're becoming. That is like where we do feel our best, where we feel most confident, where we shine. And so we want more of that. So whatever our rising sign is, think of it as like that is the driving force to get us to where the sun is.
Okay.
So you're an Aquarius sun. Yeah. Very concerned with like the world and humanity and making sure that people are taken care of. Aquarius rules communities and groups of people. And so there's this deeper empathy that you have for like the collective. Aquarius is very much like, how can I leave the world better than I found it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you have this like fiery Leo rising. You love to perform, but then it's like you're an Aquarius sun. So like the part of your chart that where you feel best is when you're literally able to like make a difference and help bring a community or group of people together. Through your Leo skills, through acting and writing and performing. Okay, then the moon. Okay, the moon is
the one I like never got.
Yeah. It's actually, so you're a Sagittarius moon, but it's in your 5th house. Okay. So the houses just represent an area of life.
Okay.
But the 5th house is the natural Leo house. So very Leo energy, but you have Sagittarius here. So not to confuse you, but you have this Sagittarius moon living in the 5th house, which is the house of entertainment, music, movies, art, writing.
Yeah.
I always think of screenwriters or playwrights. That's the 5th house. And because your moon is there, this is actually the most important part of your chart because this is where you nurture yourself.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
You can go and look at your birth chart at home and see where the moon is. That's the part that we are caretaking. It's a non-negotiable. Also, yours is in Sagittarius, so that tells us also a lot about how you nurture yourself. Sag, all about getting out of our comfort zone. Foreign travel, higher education,
so
expansion. Does that resonate? Like your big 3?
It really does. I knew like what they were, but then I never understood like what each meant.
You're a musician, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you know how like on the guitar you can play 3 chords and you can play pretty much any song.
For sure, yeah.
Like, think of that as like your big 3. It's like the best place to start. We can do so much with the big 3 in astrology, but it can go so much deeper.
Oh, I love that.
So your sun is in Aquarius, but it's in your 7th house.
Okay.
And the 7th house represents relationships. This is like definitely, I'm talking intimacy, partners, like your spouse, your marriage. Are you single?
Fortunately.
Do you like being single though?
It's a complicated relationship.
Yep.
I love being single.
Yeah.
Like, I love the freedom. And I feel like literally I was like crying to my friend about this like yesterday. But like, yeah. But like I deal with like loneliness and like struggling with that. And then I finally got to a place where I'm like, you know what? Like, I love being alone. And also, like, I mean, I talked to my sister about this and she was like, yeah, you just like your space. Like, I like having my own room. Yeah. It's like, if I have to be in a house, like, I need some place to just like go and be by myself for like a certain amount of time. So like, I do like being single and I like kind of having fun, but also I do want a connection. Yeah. And I feel like I want someone who like acknowledges that I like my space, but also still be there when I just want to like hang out or just like connect or like just have someone like there when I like work. Yeah, I don't know, just like form
that's so cute.
bond.
I feel the same way. Like, we all need partnership at the end of the day. Like, we're all here to connect to humans, but like you're an Aquarius sun, so it's just I was intrigued to see your thoughts on it because like you have this Aquarius sun. Aquarius is very independent.
Yes,
but again, cares about the collective and groups of people. That's why they're kind of that like detached sign where they always joke like it's really hard to like tie down an Aquarius because like they're just like concerned with bigger things or they're just kind of they're independent and they're like worried about I don't know like doing their own thing. Yeah. But you have all of that Aquarius energy in your 7th house. So it is literally that like the irony of like, no, but I need my own space and I need my time. But then also like it is living in my 7th house. So like be close by.
Yeah. No, like literally just like hold me.
Make sure I can call to you like when I need you, but like leave me alone.
No, exactly. Exactly.
So you have what is called a stellium in the 7th house. All that means is when you have 3 or more planets that live in a specific zodiac sign and in a specific house, just means there's a lot of energy.
Oh, interesting.
So you have your sun, where you shine. And I love that you said it's what I want because, again, that's the sun. It represents this higher image of our life. You're going to have a fabulous relationship. You have amazing placements in your 7th house. Like, I'm not worried about you.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. In fact, I feel like there's totally a reason that you have not found your person yet because someone amazing's coming. You have your sun here. You have Jupiter and Venus. Jupiter is the planet of opportunities, abundance, wealth, foreign travel, higher education. That's Jupiter. It rules Sagittarius. That's your moon sign. Okay. So you're really well connected to Jupiter. Then you have Venus.
Yes.
Venus is the planet of love.
Yes.
Venus is the planet that spoils us, like bubble baths and skincare.
Yes.
That's Venus.
Okay.
Venus in the 7th house is so good because Venus loves love. It's like that's already the house where 2 is better than 1. And then when we're putting Jupiter there, which is luck and opportunities, and we're putting Venus there, which like just feels really good and pretty, and then we're putting the sun there where we shine, that's stellar. Oh, like that is awesome.
Oh, that's good to hear.
It is. That's why I was like, wait, do you have a relationship? Because there is definitely going to be. I mean, also, I will say this too. The only like caveat with Jupiter is that it can feel overwhelming. Like there can sometimes be too much of a good thing. So you might have multiple relationships or just a lot of opportunities for love. But again, with the Aquarius there, like you get to be picky and you get to, you know, who's coming into my life that's actually like meant to be here and going to benefit me.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of your life, your relationships are getting a lot of focus and attention.
Yes.
And I feel like it's giving, you guys will probably work together. Maybe you're meeting your partner like on set or you guys are like working in the same industry just because that 7th house is so prominent for you, which means you guys are really literally going to be like that.
Aww.
Even though you might not love that. The sound of it, but you will love it when it's the right person.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
The moon is in your 5th house. That is the house of entertainment. So again, that's how you nurture yourself. Also, children live in the 5th house. And so the moon is our mother planet, and that represents motherhood and our like the women's reproductive system, all the things. When the moon is in the 5th house, traditionally, this is where we would see a deep desire for women to like be a mom and have children. But a lot of people now that I do readings with are like, I'm actually like, I'm the child in this lifetime and I'm here to like nurture me?
I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I want children, like, in the future.
Yeah.
But, like, I would say I am kind of like, no, I want to, like, take care of
You're
my,
first.
like, yeah.
Which, again, Leo rising, that is like your motivation. It's like, do you. There's like a whole community that wants to watch you perform and wants to watch your artwork. So, like, you have to fill that cup.
Oh, yeah.
First. But if you ever are interested in having children, the moon in the 5th house is a very positive placement for that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
But you're very creative, very nurturing, very magnetic, and you are a storyteller. Like, that's facts.
Wow. So crazy.
Okay, big news, you guys. I'm doing my first ever live virtual show, StarStruck Live, and it's happening on June 11th. And you do not want to miss this. I'll be in the studio with a surprise celebrity guest for a full birth chart reading, live, which means anything can happen. I can't say who it is just yet, but trust me, it's a good one. And the best part? You get to be a part of it, no matter where you live. You'll be able to chat with me in real time, send in questions, react live, whatever your chart needs that day. And if you grab an after party ticket, you'll get to hang with us after the show. Ask us any questions you want and hear even more tea. So hit the link, grab your ticket now, and mark your calendars for June 11th, my favorite number. I'll see you there. Okay, I love this with your chart. Mercury is the planet of storytelling.
Okay.
And it's living in your 6th house in Capricorn, which, okay, the 6th house is our day-to-day house. It is our to-do list, our schedules, our errands. It's our where we're busy.
Right.
And then it's in Capricorn, which is where we make money. So you have your storyteller planet in your 6th house of day-to-day work with Capricorn, which means you quite literally make money with the work that you're doing through storytelling.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So with the writing, having Mercury in the 6th house and in Capricorn, that's just like, that's your like business part where it's like, okay, this is where I can be really successful. This is where I'm going to feel really dedicated, really determined, and I'm going to make money. Also just like doing this, like things like this, like TikTok, social media, podcasting, like just sharing your literal voice. Like people want to hear you.
Oh,
You're healing people with your voice. To kind of piggyback off of that, you have Mars, which is the planet of action. It's the fiery planet. We can get in a little bit of trouble with Mars because he's kind of like a little bit of a risk taker, a little impulsive.
Okay.
We wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for Mars. Like, he gets shit done.
Right.
So wherever Mars lives, that's an area that's really activated. And he's living in your 3rd house, which is the house of storytelling.
Oh.
So it's a really big theme in your chart.
Okay.
Right. And it's in Libra. So that tells me Libra rules romance and love, and it's very diplomatic. So writing something that just feels about like maybe love stories, right? Or romance, or like it just feels like pretty and fun.
Oh, I love that. Oh my God.
I know. Are you ready to go a little deeper? How are you feeling?
Sure. I feel good.
Okay.
I feel like I agree with like everything.
You're about to go through your Saturn return. Did you know that?
No.
I mean, it's a good thing.
Okay.
So Saturn currently is in Pisces, and then it'll be going into Aries.
Okay.
So it's almost your turn. And it basically just means like real adulting, like real growing up. It's where we like cut ties with our childhood self and we step into our adult self. It's a big deal in astrology. It's all about getting into your alignment with where you're truly meant to be. It is a fabulous transit. It lasts about 3 years. It's not something you're going to feel like every single day.
I see. Okay.
But overall, like if I look back at who I was before my Saturn return, very different.
Interesting.
Lots of changes.
Yeah.
But like, I loved it. You know, not every day was easy. There were a lot of like, you know, trials and tests and lessons.
Yeah.
But like ultimately it gets you to where you need to be.
Okay.
So like, for example, they say, and I don't necessarily agree with this, but they do say like maybe wait before getting married or waiting to have kids, waiting to make any really big life changes.
While I'm in Saturn return.
Waiting till after it is what they say to do.
But it's 3 years long.
For Saturn and Aries, I think it's a little bit shorter than the Saturn and Pisces.
Oh, okay.
But it is a while. And people get married during their Saturn returns all the time. They have babies during their Saturn return all the time. Like, it's fine to do, like, live your life. We have free will. But the point of like being aware of your Saturn return is to just make sure that you're not doing it impulsively and that things feel really aligned with what you want. Saturn's going to test you and ask you like, is this really what you want? Because if not, I can bring you something so much better. But if you're happy, then like, great, we can commit.
Right.
So that's kind of like the vibe of Saturn returns. And if we ignore Saturn, that's when he gets kind of like dad energy, like you're grounded.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not what I wanted from you.
So like, how do you know what you're doing right during, like what you're doing right versus wrong in Saturn return?
This sounds like such an annoying thing to say, but like that's where trusting your intuition and I think having spiritual hygiene is like the best way to get through a Saturn return.
Yeah.
We want to control our lives, but usually deep down we know what's right or what's wrong. And so it's just being really honest and true to yourself. So like, for example, say you're working a 9 to 5 and you get fired. Instead of having a reaction of like, oh, I hate my boss or like that sucks, that shouldn't have happened. Instead be like, okay, thanks Saturn. Like thanks for getting me out of that position because there's something way better for me out there. But if any life changes do come in that feel a little like, oh, that kind of sucked, just trusting that it's for your greater good. I will say like before my Saturn return, I didn't really know what my purpose was. Like I loved astrology, but I was like, that's not like a real job. And so it was a lot of like self-doubt, a lot of imposter syndrome. And then like during Saturn return, it's kind of when we get to really step into our power. So you already know what your passion is and what you love doing. So I feel like for you, your Saturn return is just going to be about trusting yourself. Also, by the way, yours is happening in your 9th house. The 9th house. So this tells us a lot about like where you will be doing a lot of growth.
Okay.
The 9th house is the house that rules publishing. It's the house where we see like authors putting books out. We're releasing something out into the world. So I think for you, it's going to be more about like getting bodies of work out into the public.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So that's like the vibe. For example, Saturn's in my 1st house. So my Saturn return was a lot of like personal identity things of like trusting myself and like finding confidence. Where I feel like for you, it's going to be more about like, okay, it's time.
Oh, okay.
If you take anything away from like the Saturn return talk, is that it's not only okay to get out of your comfort zone, it's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like go out of your comfort zone, trust yourself. Also, Saturn can bring delays because he wants everything to be perfect. And so it's like, is this really ready to go out into the world?
Yeah.
So I think you're going to have some lessons around like the perfectionism and like trusting that a body of work is ready to go. But we'll see. You have to keep me updated.
Ooh, I know I will.
In astrology, there is a thing called the North Node, which is all about our soul's purpose, our destiny.
Okay.
And yours is in your 2nd house, which is the house of money and finances and real estate.
Oh.
And it's all about the North Node is the idea that it is like pulling you into this area of your life. You've never mastered this area before. So in this lifetime, it's like your soul's purpose to master the art of making money. The 6th house where you have Mercury, that's more of like hustle, work, we're showing up, efficiency.
For sure.
The 2nd house is like, I am following my dreams and I'm putting my vision out into the world and I'm going to reap the benefits and I'm going to make money and I'm going to work hard and play hard. A lot of times people are like, what is my purpose? And if you feel that way, find your North Node in your birth chart and it'll give you so much direction. Yeah.
Nothing less.
But making money. And it's in Virgo. Hello with more Mercury. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So Virgo is the sign of communication. We see journalists, writers. Gemini is also ruled by Mercury, but Gemini is more of like entertainment journalism, like gossip and like all of the hot topics. And then Virgo, think like hard journalist, more serious. But it's the helper, it's the teacher, it's the writer. So because your North Node is in Virgo, like you're also learning in this lifetime how to help people with your stories and your words.
That. Oh, sweet.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
Okay, that's like your really quick little rundown of your chart. Questions?
Do people have birth charts where it's like, you're going to go to jail? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, do people read criminals' birth charts and they can see like where they fell flat? And
Literally my chart. Let me explain.
Okay.
The 12th house in astrology rules prisons. And so if you have a lot of planets in the 12th house, which I do, there's more to the 12th house.
We hear a knock on the door.
Yeah, like Ally, we want you. all the places like we don't want to go.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of it, it rules things like spirituality. It's very eat, pray, love.
Oh,
it's it's kind of where we do see Buddhist monks.
Yeah.
So the 12th house is the house in astrology where it's like the two extremes. So say I was someone that, you know, I'm grateful for the upbringing I had.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I have spirituality and a Capricorn sun. But if I didn't have all those things and I ignored my spiritual calling, if you're not able to handle the intensity of the 12th house, it's the natural Pisces house. So it's watery. Think the ocean. It's super vast. And I always say it's like, okay, we either drown or swim there. We usually do a mix of both, but we do see addictions, mental health there. So it's just an intense house. And if we don't nurture it correctly, that's when we can see people kind of fall into negative patterns. You know who else has a stellium in the 12th house, I believe, or I think she at least has some placements there, is Kim Kardashian. And she's a great example, though, because of how she does prison reform.
Yeah.
But how Kim now in like her later years is pulled into those places where, again, people don't want to go.
Yeah.
But she's showing up to like help make a difference in those places. So if you're looking at your chart and you see a planet in the 12th or a bunch of planets in the 12th, that does not mean you're going to jail. But it does mean that you have a deeper call in society to show up for your emotions and spirituality. You're a healer. You probably feel really concerned with others and wanting to help them get through their obstacles. But even like growing up, I was always scared of police and like going to jail. And now I'm like, okay, was that maybe my 12th house placement?
So
like it is weird. We both have stelliums in Aquarius. We don't want to break the rules, but we just think the rules should be better.
Yes. Yes. I do agree with that.
Right?
Yes.
Like our Capricorn placements are like, we don't want to get in trouble. Like we are very ethical. We're very morally grounded. Like, yeah. But then our Aquarius energy is like, okay, but also male just doesn't make sense. Like we're set up for failure here. So you gave me dates for just to like look at, and I don't know what it is. So I'm just going to like tell you the astrology of these specific dates, and then you can tell me like what was going on, and we'll see if it like checks out, and you can be honest. Okay. So let's do October 9th, 2024.
Yes.
So the astrology around this time wasn't overall negative, but there was a lot of growth. So transiting Saturn was square Jupiter, which basically means it was a challenging period for serious growth to take place within your work, career, passion projects. And it may not have felt necessarily easy, but a very important and crucial time to get serious about next steps and things that you're like working on. Also, Jupiter was in Gemini in the 11th, which is a super social time, great for forming new friendships and having people coming together and like serving a community in a way. And for you as an Aquarius, that's a really big part of your life is community. Social media, of course, too, rules the 11th house. It lives in the 11th house, Jupiter and Gemini. Gemini is all about connection, social media. So having Jupiter being in the 11th, it's like a lot of opportunities were coming up. Okay. That's all I wrote down for that. So tell me what that experience was.
So October 9th, they may be watching, but it's okay. But it was a day where I had a really big fight with my friend. So it was really interesting how you brought up, because it happened in a social setting.
A social setting. Oh, wow. Like the fight did?
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah. It happened
crazy.
in like, we were having kind of like a girls' night. Career-wise, I can't think back too much if there was like something career happening.
Right. The 11th house is friendships first.
Yeah.
And our literal like friends that are family. And Saturn is restrictions and like friction.
It was negative, but it wasn't like too bad. And then it was interesting because you brought up social media, because it had to do with like, I don't want to spill too much detail, but it had to do with a dating site.
Okay.
So I thought that was really interesting that you brought that up.
And that's like when Jupiter is in Gemini, which it's been in Gemini since last May. Jupiter expands things. So with Jupiter being in Gemini, I mean, this goes for the collective during this time period. Gemini rules things like travel, social media, technology, AI, things like that.
Yeah.
Did you guys resolve?
Yes.
Great.
I still like some, I wouldn't say all the way, but like better place.
Well, that's good, because so Saturn is the planet of learning to set boundaries. So it puts us through little like tests.
Yeah.
So that we come out on the other side being like, okay, I worked through that. I feel better now, but I also learned from that. And I wouldn't necessarily repeat I'm not doing things exactly the same way.
Yeah.
So and because Saturn was involved, it's like somewhere there was a lesson.
Yeah.
It's always a lesson, but like then if Saturn's involved, like take notes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's
interesting.
It means business.
Yeah. Love that.
Okay, this one is March 10th, 2025. Deep feelings. A lot of healing opportunities could be happening. So the North Node purpose point, our purpose point, and Saturn made a conjunction in your 8th house. Remember, Saturn is like lessons, kind of sits us down a little bit and is like strict. And then the North Node is our purpose point. So when these two team up, we're getting like deep soul lessons, soul work. And it was happening in your 8th house, which is like our haunted house. It's where so even thinking about us meeting right now, the 8th house is where we do see things like astrology, spirituality, going spooky a little bit deeper, like down the rabbit hole. There's a reason that you are meant to go a little bit deeper right now. Whether it's therapy or just taking your mental health more seriously or literally taking like alone time, like forcing yourself to slow down. But the astrology on March 10th was a time for processing emotions, basically, and spiritual awakening vibes, paying attention to your dreams, any synchronicities that come into play, anything that feels like a sign right now, by the way, is. Then Venus and Mercury were in your 9th house. So travel opportunities were emerging, maybe feeling ready to expand your horizon, may have opportunities for love or meeting people in unexpected ways, probably not in this country or maybe not even in LA. And then Mars was in the 12th house. So again, Mars is action and the 12th house is our bedroom with the door locked. Like that's where we go to read and sleep and like write music. So when Mars enters the 12th house, like that's where your energy and time is going. Like, so right now you're in a very creative moment.
Girl, were you stalking me?
March 10th, what was going on?
Very, very recent. I really hope they're not listening. I was traveling, like what you brought up. I went to the city and there is a guy that I knew there, but he like ghosted me. He like kind of like, I mean, in a way, like he just was not, meeting up with me.
Yeah.
So I was like, damn, like I'm in the city and like, I don't know like what to do.
Yeah.
So I went on the dating apps and then I met a guy there, actually.
That's crazy.
I know. So like when you were talking about that, I was like, oh shit, like he called it off. But like later on.
The way that the universe removed someone and brought someone in.
That's what I like noticed that. I was like, oh, interesting.
Also, Venus was retrograde.
Yeah.
Mercury was retrograde.
Yeah.
If there's any still emotions that you have about that situation, you'll have clarity soon because a lot of those planets are no longer retrograde. We have a full moon in Libra coming up, though. That's what full moons do. It brings us like something comes into fruition or something makes sense. The Venus, Mercury, both being in that 9th house, but retrograde, just meant plans during retrogrades like never go as planned.
Yeah,
like, they just don't. And then having all of the planets in your like healing houses, almost being like, hey, that's okay. Like, let's just go write a song about it.
Yeah.
Let's go write a story about it because that's what Mars wants to do in that 12th house anyway. It doesn't really want to even socialize. Venus and Mercury did, but Mars is like, okay, whatever. Let's turn that into art.
Yeah. And then that's still going on, right?
It is. The North Node is in Pisces in that 8th house I was telling you about with like spirituality. I mean this in a good way. It's an isolating experience as in like for an artist, it's a good thing because this is going to be a really beautifully creative time for you to get like breakthroughs, to feel creative, to also want to share your art with people and to just have this like deeper connection with people right now.
Yeah.
By the way, the North Node will be in Pisces for like the next 3 years. So this is like kind of just the next little phase. But the 8th house is also the house of sex and passion and deep intimate connections. So I do think you'll probably start to find a partner that is really activating that part of your chart, which can feel almost like meeting your soulmate. Which can feel like meeting, it's like a karmic connection, whether good or bad, where it's like, wait, I've known you before. Like if you're meeting someone with the North Node being in the 8th house, like it's not, we're not playing around. Like this is deep.
Yeah.
So Even like you going into the city and having those experiences, that's because the North Node is so not up to us. That is 100% the universe is doing. So it's like the universe being like, nah. And also Saturn is in Pisces still for like a few more months until it goes into Aries, where remember that's like your Saturn return area. So Saturn right now is conjunct the North Node. So it's like having literally a dad like in your sex house being like, no, I don't like him. I don't like him. Maybe this person. Okay, let's see how they treat you. But yeah, Saturn will be leaving, which is good.
Okay.
Because then it'll just be the North Node and then it'll just feel like magic.
Interesting.
If there is anything like contracts or anything that comes into your life over the next month, just sit with it a little bit deeper. I'm not saying not to sign anything. In fact, you probably will sign if whatever contract comes in. But Saturn, again, he's the like practical planet that is all about fact checking. He might be bringing you something. It might be a partner and it might be a contract. Those are usually what the 8th house brings us, either money or love.
Interesting.
Okay. This is January 20th, 2018.
Yes.
I hope that this was a good date for you because this was a really beautiful. So we had North Node was in Leo. You're a Leo rising. This is new beginnings, new opportunities, exposure. There was something in the universe being like, it's go time, girl. Like, let's go. You're being seen. But on January 20th, it was really active, basically, in your chart. Also, Jupiter and Scorpio in your 4th house, which expands where we live. We can see moving. We can see just like decorating and like having a new place or like new beginnings, family members entering. And then Saturn, Mercury, and Pluto in the 6th house. Time to get serious about the way that you're working, taking care of your entire body and system, like habits and your health and lifestyle.
So that was the day of my grandma's funeral.
Oh.
So.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
It almost is giving like it's kind of wild because the last one we were doing with all the 8th house stuff, like the healing stuff, like that's the one where it's like
more on
no,
the nose.
That's giving funeral.
Oh, really?
Well, I will say Jupiter in the 4th house, which by the way is Scorpio for you.
Yes.
Jupiter does expand our family matters, and when it's in the 4th house of the home. I usually always try to have a more positive approach with Jupiter because he's just a positive planet by nature. He can expand our feelings too and our emotions, especially when it's in Scorpio and it's in the 4th house of our family and our home and our foundation.
Yeah.
That period, what's kind of interesting when the North Node goes into our 1st house, it's a new beginning. It is almost like it's up to me or it's more of like this is my moment. But remember that that lasts for like 3 years too. So But Pluto being in your 6th house, Pluto is the planet of death. He can just put a damper on things. But he was also in your 6th house, though, for like 15 years. So overall, though, this day was very family oriented, again, with Jupiter in the 4th. So even just being around family and family matters.
For sure.
But that whole time period, like the biggest thing that stuck out for me was fame, new beginnings.
So interesting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. It was like her funeral, but I guess I was in college.
When the North Node's in the 1st house anyway, it is when we see people getting new opportunities, new relationships, new friendships, new jobs. But because it's in Leo, that's why it has that star factor of like, oh, okay, maybe your following was growing, or maybe this was around the time when like exposure was really activated in some way, or you were just like aligning more with that version of you being ready to like showcase your talents and gifts with the world.
Interesting.
Do you know what your grandma's sign was?
Virgo.
Yeah. Just because someone we love passed physically, they're still activating our chart like all the time. So let's see where she's activating. Guess what she's activating?
What?
Your North Node. Your purpose point. That's so cute.
Oh my God.
That's where your North Node lives always. So it's always, remember, it's in that 2nd house of work. And she's your biggest fan. Like if you get guidance from her, she's like, follow your dreams.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet.
That's cute. Also, like if you have something like of her that you can keep out in the house, any little like nod to her or photo or just something where it's like, there she is. Because like she represents the path that you're meant to follow in this lifetime. The fun little things like that.
Yeah.
Astrology doesn't need to be scary. So the current astrology today, where the astrology is meeting you specifically, Jupiter enters Cancer at the end of spring. So Jupiter will be entering your 12th house. The 12th house again, it's that creative house. It's the last house. So it's where we kind of go to sleep and take naps and kind of meditate, literally. It's very spiritual. So I feel like this next phase, this next year, there's a lot more focus on the creative process, perhaps, or you feeling really aligned with the work that you're doing. Trust opportunities that come your way. I'm not saying to like say yes to everything, but manifestations that you have placed in the past might start coming into fruition and also manifest during this time. Like always do that.
Yeah.
But when Jupiter goes into Cancer and it'll be in your 12th house, because then when it goes into Leo, then it'll be go time. Think of this next chapter as like you're planting seeds right now.
Oh, okay.
Also a lot of like, you're going to do a lot of spiritual development. You might pick up some psychic abilities. Yeah. You might start talking to ghosts.
Oh.
You're like, no, Ally, no. Okay, so working on self things.
Yeah.
Loving yourself, meditation, manifesting, getting serious about the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
And very artistic and very creative.
Oh, remind me, what's the 12th house?
It is the one we were talking about with prisons. But that is the house where it's the eat, pray, love house.
Got
it's
it,
spirituality, Buddhism. I don't know why I say that. It's because White Lotus.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Ally. But it is the house of where we go to kind of lose our ego, like to lose that like connection with the material world and to go to like a deeper, higher plane.
Oh, interesting.
In some way.
Okay.
So you're going to have some really cool breakthroughs and just trust that. Maybe you're doing things like Reiki or yoga or just have like spiritual hygiene. During this next time period, I think you'll be getting into a routine with your spirituality.
Interesting. Oh, I love that.
And then the North Node in Pisces, your 8th house, we've already kind of talked about this, but that's where you're going to be doing a lot of deeper soul work, some healing. It just is looking very whimsical, and we get to create and we get to evolve. You'll also be going through your Saturn return. So you're working, you're still busy, but taking time for literally you. And I think it'll probably be relationship based in some way too. Because like, you know, when you get into a relationship and then it's like you want to spend all your time together and you're obsessed with each other, like that's kind of more of the energy that this next year is giving for you. So it'll be fun to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
But all good things. It's like you're just getting cozy with your own mental world.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It'll seep in too. Like you don't need to get it all right now.
Oh, okay,
but like
okay.
you'll be like going through your life at the grocery store and like things will hit you and you'll be like, oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank
and
you.
thank you for letting me look at your chart.
Oh my God. Thanks for looking at them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So fun.
This was so cool. I feel like I learned a lot.